So
I don't mind. I pressed it. I pressed the button.
You did it.
We are live. We are 3 Ninja Turtles without our Leonardo today. Hello, everyone, to do it live stream. Like, we have to slum it today because Jared is not here. He is at which con is it? Is it Infinity Con?
Infinity Con, I think, is
yes.
what. I was chatting with Johanna, and I think that's the one she mentioned.
Jason was chatting with Johanna, and that's the one that she mentioned. Johanna is Jared's wife. Jared is the yard sale artist, and it was the Leo I was referring to. Hello to people joining us in the chat. There's Auburn Elvis. There's Matt Paso. I need to write those down, and I'll write them down in a second. Pat asked me to vent for time because he is downloading stuff that makes Amazing Spider-Man Chronicles so special, such as Auburn Elvis's karma count, which I always win. So like the folks, the guys
that reminds me
because I win it all the time. There's that. And he's downloading some images as well. Like, if you look at Pat, he has a very serious face going on.
Very serious here.
Like, with the glasses and the squinting and everything. So that is a thing that's going on. Jason is looking like Jason. Matt comes in with a comment, and that gives me more material to vent from. He says, I highly recommend everyone go watch Superman, but not during this live stream. I agree. Because if you watched it during the live stream, you might be in the theaters watching it, and then people wouldn't appreciate you laughing at the hilarity that Jason and Pat and I often bring to the show. Hello to Heinz Cook. The material there, by the way, is I watched Superman yesterday, so it was good. Jason, did you?
I haven't seen it yet.
Pat,
no,
you haven't seen it, Jason?
No, not yet. I want to.
I was going to go with my son, and he was out of town, so we're going to try to catch it next weekend.
Yeah, I get the feeling it'll still be around in theaters next weekend, Jason. My personal opinion is that it was very good. At this point, James Gunn knows what he's doing. And so when they gave James Gunn the ropes or the whole job of putting together the DC universe properly, I was like, the man knows how to universe build. I mean, we saw him get people to care about a animatronic raccoon. We can get you to care about a raccoon. He can probably get you to care about Superman. Superman's an easy enough one, right? And I think the most important thing that he did is that his Superman has heart. And that made me feel good. And then there's a point in the movie, I'm obviously this is going to be spoiler free because it just came out, but there's a point in the movie where, the introduction to Superman and Superman's folks and all that. And, his dad has to give him a speech about what it means to be Superman. His mom has to give him a speech.
Wrong.
Right. But it's basically the same thing, right? And so, his dad gave a very simple and convincing speech, and he did it, and it actually made me tear up because it was just it was fantastic. It was well done. And so not only that, but there were characters introduced that I felt were characters that have not been a part of not the animated universe, but the DC movie universe itself, that I felt were necessary as well. So I thought that was cool too, because James Gunn is going to open up the DC universe, which is something that I have been complaining about for some time now. It's DC. DC has been around since the 30s. There are decades and decades. We're almost at the 100-year point of DC, and we have gotten Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, and that's really it. And it's really? We haven't seen Nightwing yet on the screen? And think about that. We have not seen Nightwing, of all things. We haven't seen, and I don't even like him, but we haven't seen Damian Wayne Robin. We haven't seen Tim Drake Robin. We hadn't even really seen a Batgirl. There's so many different elements that they need to introduce, and it seems like James Gunn is starting to do that. And if he gets that, and starts to open it up like that, then that will be the introduction that the public needs into seeing what the DC universe is all about. So it has me very excited. Like, people have asked me, like, are you team Marvel or team DC? And it's like, I'm team comic book. I want to see good comic book movies more than I want to see, like, oh, Marvel's cool. It's like, I don't have to root for one and against the other one, like, because I have thousands of DC comic books. I have thousands of Marvel comic books. It's like, I want to see good stuff so I can continue watching comic book movies like well into my old age, as much as my middle age. So like, I really, really like the Superman movie. Superman has heart. Superman needs heart. And I just think I think that's awesome. So
one of the things I was most concerned about with James Gunn is that he does a really good job of taking those quirky comic book titles like Suicide Squad and Guardians of the Galaxy and putting them on the screen. I hadn't really seen him do the flagship character. Like, when you have somebody like Superman, boy, there's a lot of iconic moments and just kind of things you have to get right, where you've got some leeway with Guardians of the Galaxy. You got some leeway with Suicide Squad. There's not a lot of leeway with Superman, but it sounds like you're saying he nailed it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, in Detective Comics, DC Universe, like, yes, there's the Trinity, right? But people often forget. I mean, the Trinity is a relatively new idea of Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. You think DC Comics, you think, I mean, it's literally Detective Comics, right? So got to think of the Batman. But even before that, you think of Superman. Like Superman is DC comic book. You have to nail him. You have to. And like, from the first time that we even see Superman on the screen, to me, he's believable. Like, some people didn't think that is it David Cornsweet, I believe his name is. People didn't think that, like, he looked apart, and it's like, nah, I disagree with that. Like, there's much more to Superman besides just the muscle part of it, and so, like, I thought he looked the part. I thought that, and I just really enjoyed this version of Superman. And you can enjoy it without having to necessarily compare it to any other one. Like, I mean, but unfortunately, got some people like that have, immediately compared to Henry Cavill. I'm like, why? Particularly because Henry Cavill and Tyler Hoechlin, two of the last people who play Superman, they're rooting Mr. Cornsweet on, which is awesome because they understand the weight behind playing such an iconic character such as Superman. So there's no competition in between them. And like Auburn Elvis just mentioned, he's talking about just Team Marvel versus Team DC per se. It's like, it ain't like sports. Both can win. Absolutely. Both can win. Like both should be rooting each other on. Like, they should be using that competition to make each other better. Like, they should be calling each other like, dude, you kick ass on that Superman movie. It's like, yeah, like, good luck to y'all in, like, your Fantastic Four. Hopefully Fantastic Four kicks butt too. So like, people are still talking about these very important comic book characters. I'm really looking forward to Fantastic Four too.
Yeah, I think, like you said, Delvin, it's rooting for the media, not which team you're on.
Yeah.
Good
point.
Yeah.
Pat, I
am all set. So thank you, Delvin, for doing that. Great conversation, though. Definitely. I mean, it's definitely a movie I've been waiting or wanting to go see. So hopefully I can get there within the next week.
Yeah. Hopefully. Like, one of my good friends, Jeremy, he wants to go watch it with me. And so, like, I usually don't go twice to watch one movie.
But that's a good sign.
Yeah, I will. I will go with my friend to watch the movie. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And by the way, since I'm sort of kind of hosting here, like, we're about to talk about Amazing Spider-Man Chronicles. What episode is this? 90? Not 90.
88.
88.
88.
Ooh,
we're getting up there. Chronicles 88. I'm going to be talking about Spidey 232, ElfQuest 13. Pat, it's yours, sir. Take it away.
All right. Just for everybody watching us, thank you for watching us live. Doing a live show here. If you are in the chat, make sure you sound off in the chat. Say hello, whether you're on X, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're at. go ahead and just get in that chat, make a comment saying hello so we can see you. And Delvin, will you be the chat checker again? All right. Delvin's playing multiple hats today. And we're going to, like Delvin said, we're going to cover Amazing Spider-Man Chronicles. We're going to record an episode. Oop, there it is. It's time to start, I guess. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. Make sure you're in the chat and be a part of it as well, too, as we look to the chat to provide some more information and read off their comments as well. Yeah, we'll get to it, I guess, as far as where Jared is. I don't know if he may join the chat. He may not. We'll see. We'll see. He may be, making that money. That's all what he's all about. More money, more money.
More money, more problems.
Yeah. So hopefully he's having a good show, that the con's going well for him. All right. Well, with that, yeah, Matt says it's kind of sad that Jared isn't there when there's not an X-Men story. Yeah.
He said the same thing. So
yeah, he was sad too that it.
We saved the X-Men stories for when he's here for entertainment value.
He actually said, he goes, you know what? Since there's not an X-Men and the Crusader Club chose this one, I'm out. I got to get out of here. No one cares how much I love the X-Men, he said. They just don't get it. And so he decided not to be here. So we are doing it without him, I guess, but because we go on. Our hearts must go on.
Near, far.
Yeah.
Wherever you are.
Wherever you are. That's right.
I believe that our hearts will go on.
You keep going, I'll start singing it. I mean, that's a great song. No.
It is a great song. Actually, well, I don't want to take us off topic here, but anyway, we will go ahead and get started. So, if you all are ready, we'll get started. You're listening to Amazing Spider-Man Chronicles episode 88. Featuring Amazing Spider-Man number 232 and ElfQuest number 13 from June 1982. Hello and welcome to the 88th episode of Amazing Spider-Man Chronicles podcast. I am your host, Pat, aka DJ Christatos. Amazing Spider-Man Chronicles is a podcast that will journal the Amazing Spider-Man comic book issues read chronologically by their release date, along with another comic from my comic book collection, either in digital, in a trade, or from the many long boxes stashed away in my basement. Each episode will provide short recaps, reviews, and ratings of the issues for that release date. The goal is to keep me actively reading through my collection and having some fun along the way, talking about them with my friends. And speaking about my friends, joining me is Delvin the Dark Web Williams.
What's up, Pat? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Delvin, how are you?
Feeling strong. Feeling very strong, like monstrously strong. Really?
Yeah. What have you been drinking?
It's usually you that kind of like airs on the side of like, but don't worry about it, Pat. Like just know that I've been at the gym and I've been training hard. I've been drinking a little drinky drink and
you've been getting into my pre-workout stuff that I keep.
Maybe, but no heroin.
Yeah, all right. I know. Yeah, that's what it is. I'm trying a new brand. Pat and Dave's pre-workout.
Come up on them. Yeah.
Pump them up. Come pump them up. Pat and Dave's pump them up. Come down on them. Come down on those weights. That's what Dave would always say. Come down on those weights. So we're trying out a little bit of that, some creatine, doing all that kind of stuff. So, we want to be everywhere for everything.
Very diverse.
Yes, we try to be. Well, speaking about being very diverse. Let's go ahead and talk to Jason the Weasel Skull. How are you today, Jason?
I'm not feeling like Jason the Weasel Skull. I'm feeling more like a Calvin or some nerd. Hold on a second. Let me. Yeah, baby, I'm back. Let's talk some comic books.
Woo!
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 Weasel Skull in the house. Got rid of Calvin. Sorry if there are any listeners named Calvin out there. just dawned on me. It's a cool name. It really is.
Yeah, you know, it's a respectful name, definitely. But I'm glad the Weasel Skull is back and in full force, totally pumped up, ready to go. Man, because we're going to need it. We're missing our fearless leader, the one that keeps us on schedule and keeps things going here at the Longbox Crusade.
In truth, I got tired of him stealing the show, so I handcuffed his hands to his legs, and he's writhing around somewhere trying to get out of that little predicament. I've actually done that before to him in real life. It's a true story.
I believe that. I believe that. I definitely believe that.
Did he get out though?
Not only did he get out, he got out. Well, he partially got out. He was still handcuffed, but he got out, inchwormed his way down the hallway to where my mom was hosting a Tupperware party.
Oh, no.
Freaked out everybody in the room, and I got the beating of my life.
Did she say to keep your brother, keep an eye on him, and that's what you did to say when it ruined the Tupperware party?
Well, okay, here's the story. We may have to edit it out. But since we have the whole listening audience in here, it was kind of his fault. Well, it was both of our faults because we had seen this Houdini show before. So
Okay.
Mom tucked us away in our room because she was hosting this party. And so we started like pretending like we were escape artists, right? So we were doing things like we had jump rope and like these plastic handcuffs, and we would tie each other up and then we'd get out of it. And so I finally did him one where I think if I remember, I handcuffed his hand behind his back. He had like this security blanket he always used. So I tied up his legs with the security blanket, and then I had a jump rope and I tied up his hands with a rope, and then I put him like head first down a sleeping bag, kind of spun him out of the sleeping bag. I just left him there.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And then so I went back.
Detail.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a pretty good, and I just went back to my room. I thought it was going to take a while. I was reading some comics, and I guess he started panicking, and he got out of the sleeping bag, but he couldn't get out of anything else. So he kind of inchwormed and rolled his way out to Mom, tears in his eyes. And then I was back reading the comic book, and I heard somebody scream out the living room. So I can't imagine what those folks thought my mom was doing to us. Back in the room, but boy, yeah, I caught hell on that one.
Wow.
Good times.
Yeah, sounds like it. Definitely the things we would do as kids before the internet. All right. Well, we are missing our fearless leader, the keeper of the calendar.
The what?
We have a calendar. Did you know that?
No.
Oh,
First time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Jared takes care of it, and usually
I'll take your word for it.
That's that thing that we use to to do the math so that we can keep track of our Patreon dollars.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, the T-shirt fund. Got it.
Ah, yeah.
Right, the T-shirt fund.
All right. Well, Jared is away at Infinity Con right now, selling his wares. So if you are there, please go and stop by him and grab something from him.
Yeah, if you're in the Tallahassee area.
Yes. In the meantime, we will be going through some comics here, and hopefully the people watching can fill in for Jared as we go along. But with that, you can also leave us a voicemail that we will play later on in the show. Leave us a message at 707-532-5269. That's 707-532-LBOX. Now,
Pick up the phone.
okay, thank you. Now, before we get started with this episode's issues, let's go ahead and take a quick podcast promo break, and we will be right back. All right. Let's keep a rolling on here. Hold on. Gotta stop my beepings. Okay. Welcome back from the break. Now let's get to the first featured comic for this episode. It is Amazing Spider-Man number 232. Before we go any further, let me put that up over Jason and figure out the best layout we got here. There we go. All right, look at that.
I was just going to peek out like this.
The credits for this issue are provided by Mike's Amazing World of Comics website. Publisher was Marvel. It's got a cover date of September 1982, but its on sale date was June 1st, 1982. Cover price is 60 cents. Editors Thomas P. DeFalco. Superstar. Writer is Roger Stern. Penciler is John Romita Jr. Inker is Jim Mooney. Letterer is Diana Elbers. And colorist is Bob Sharon. This is reprinted in Spider-Man Magazine number 4 in 1995. Essential Spider-Man Volume 11 trade paperback. And Amazing Spider-Man Mask of the Tarantula trade paperback. This can also be found in Spider-Man by Roger Stern's Omnibus and Marvel Masterworks Volume 293 of Amazing Spider-Man Volume 22. Cover credits go to penciler John Romita Jr. and inks are the $10 L. Milgram. Speaking about that cover, I'm going to have Delvin, can you read the cover description from Jared?
Oh, yeah, Jared's not here, so I got to read Jared's cover description. Let's go. Well, obviously, the Marvel Comics Group banner is yellow with black letters. Spider-Man sprints from his yellow corner box like he's going to run and tell that. The Amazing Spider-Man logo is blue with yellow highlights with the webs designed for snatching your people up. The main action is a 4-figure movement of the transformation of Antoine Dodson. Wait, scratch that. Calvin Zabo turning into Mr. Hyde as he stands atop a Spidey signal, homeboy. And it all lays atop a pink background, which we can only assume is in Lincoln Park. A cover blurb reads, featuring the most savage supervillain of all. If he's that savage, you should probably hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husbands too. This cover description was so dumb. So dumb. Back to you, Pat.
Thank you, Delvin, for doing Jared's cover description.
You don't get it?
I don't get it.
So there was this clip. I don't even know where it started, but there was some guy in some hood that like basically climbed into someone's window and like tried to like kidnap somebody. And they interviewed this dude, Antoine Dodson. There we go. Auburn Elvis says Madison, Alabama. They interviewed this dude, Antoine Dodson. And he was just like pretty outlandish and like, you are so talking to the criminal. You are so dumb, you know, like it just, they did. And so like whoever, like there were these two dudes who sort of did a remix for it too and everything. Like I'll send it to you after the show. Yeah. It is funny. Like, I mean, like it looks like the chat gets it too. Auburn Elvis said Madison, Alabama. Matt Passo says bedroom intruder. So
okay.
yeah.
Well, it must have been.
Don't worry, you can't catch them all. There's so many that it doesn't take much for anything to go viral, right? So when it goes viral, like either you caught it at the zeitgeist of it, or sometimes you didn't. But I'll share it for you later.
All right. Well, I look forward to that. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get to some cover thoughts. And Jason, what's your thoughts on the cover?
I like it. I mean, it's lacking Spider-Man. Of course, the only Spider-Man reference we really have other than the title is the spider signal. But and maybe it's a little bit of current comic book nostalgia. I've been reading the Avengers, and they kind of have this new Masters of Evil storyline taking place, which kind of reminded me of the old Masters of Evil, which Mr. Hyde was particularly nefarious because he busted up Jarvis pretty good, and and kind of bullied his way around the Avengers mansion. So seeing him on the cover here kind of tickled my tummy feathers a little bit. And he is kind of a cool looking villain, and he's a mean villain, man. I mean, not an A-lister, I would say, but boy, whenever he's in there, he's kind of scary. So as far as the cover goes, lacking Spider-Man, maybe I kind of miss seeing Spider-Man on the Spider-Man cover, but it's got a cool villain, and I like the layout of it. So I'll probably give it a decent score.
Okay. Wow. So, you bring up the Masters of Evil. I thought only Vigo was the Master of Evil. When he tried to battle the boys. It's not even legal.
That's right.
Oh, we're in control. That's Ghostbusters.
Really?
Bobby Brown. Yeah. Ghostbusters for Ghostbusters too.
I thought so, but I was not picking it up. You know what?
Control.
They came about Vigo, the Master of Evil. Try to battle my boys. It's not legal.
Okay.
All right. Well, I tried. My bits just don't hit hard like they used to anymore. Just not. Delvin, what's your thoughts on the cover?
I like it. Like they have used that effect before. I think maybe Ross Andrew did, where it's like we got to find somebody to put Spidey on the cover, so they do like the spotlight of the Spidey, but I think it works because like it sort of helps highlight Mr. Hyde too, and and it shows his transformation where the guy's in the back, hitting the drink, and then he's like mosh pitting for a second, and then like. It looks like a metalcore concert that, I've been to a time or two. So, yeah, I do like it. I think it's well drawn. I think it's as simple as that. I think it's good. And if you're a fan of Mr. Hyde, then it's very, very good. But it is good. It is an attractive cover. What do you think, Pat?
Well, what draws me is right to Hyde himself, just totally just angering out there. It took me a while to see what was happening in the background with the transformation. But now that I see it, I think that's really cool how that's playing forward to become Hyde. Do I like the Spider-Man symbol? Sometimes it's good. Sometimes they, like when they use it in the background, like to highlight or flashlight light something. So maybe Spider-Man's kind of, doing the Spider-Man symbol on him on the ground. But yeah, it's all right. I don't think it's that bad of a looking cover, but
you don't sound convinced. You're like,
I don't. Yeah, because maybe it is because Spider-Man is missing. So, and I'm not too. I guess I don't know Hyde as much. So. And it sounds like he's been a villain for other superheroes.
Yeah. If one of the things that they even mentioned in the book, like the last time that anyone saw Hyde, he was in a battle with Captain America. It looks like he's more of an Avengers villain than he is a Spider-Man villain. And remember, for the longest time, like all the way till the 2000s, Spider-Man was like, I'll never join a team. So like him, like he was here and Avengers were here, like, and they always stayed in their separate lanes, particularly now. So like this was just a rare crossover between an Avengers villain and Spider-Man.
Which is good to see. I like that they're pulling in, different characters from different other superheroes in the area. So, but let's go ahead and find out. Do we got any thoughts in the chat from the cover? Okay. Well, let's go ahead and give this a rating on Amazing Spider-Man Chronicles. We rate the cover on a 1 to 5 scale. 5 is you loved it. It tickled your tummy feathers. 4, you really liked it. 3, you liked it. 2, you didn't like it. And 1, you hated it. It ruffled your tummy feathers. Let's go ahead and go to Jason. 1 through 5 on the cover.
I'm at a 3. I think the cover is technically solid. As we said, Hyde looking good. I think what kind of disturbs me about this one, like I said, the purpose of the cover is to draw you into a book, particularly if you're a new reader and this is your jump off point to Amazing Spider-Man. And I think back to 10-year-old Jason staring at that rack, all those choices to choose from. Would I pick this one up? Probably not. Not if there's not a good Spider-Man action scene on the cover. And I would be missing out. And we'll get into more of that when we cover the interior.
Yeah.
I just don't think this cover is doing a good job of selling all the stuff that happens in this book. I think there's a missed opportunity here.
Okay.
So 3 for me.
I am going to agree with you on that. It's a 3 for me too. And I think you hit what I was kind of feeling and thinking about when I was going over my thoughts on the cover. That is, it's just something that's there. You have to know who the villain is, and it would have to interest you to want to pull this off of the rack with the money that you had at the time.
Yeah, I had enough for 2 comic books out of that whole rack, and I don't think this would be one of them, and I'd have been missing out.
Yeah. All right, Delvin.
I'm almost tempted to give it a 4. I'm not. I'll be like on that high side of 3. I do like the cover. I think the cover is well drawn. And I mean, they do spend the time of the cover hyping the bad guy of the book. And at least the majority of the book, we are getting to see Mr. Hyde, right? And Spidey fight him. So they didn't at least shy away from the main bad guy of the book. So I thought that was fine. Matt Passo, by the way, says that he gives the cover a 3. It's kind of underwhelming and agree that it needs more Spidey. Yeah, I just don't know where Spidey would be. The only, they could have maybe, in my opinion, if they didn't show the transformation from Zabo to Hyde, then they could have just had a monstrous Hyde and Spider-Man maybe, squared up against them, or maybe that multiple, like they did one time in the book where, there's 3 or 4 Spideys, all the different places punching, or maybe even Hyde about to put, tear down a water tower and put it over Spidey's head or something like that. It may be some better ideas that we're giving about 43 years too late, but what can we do?
Yeah, definitely see your point there too, Delvin. So where'd you lay? At a 3 as well?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that means 3 cool guys at a 3 for this cover.
Pat.
Oh, you're right. I'm forgetting something. Aren't I?
You are forgetting something.
Yeah, I've been waiting for it. I'm shaking. I'm so anticipatory right now.
All right. Well, we are what you guys have been waiting for. We are at 3's company level.
Coming knock on
the door.
We've been waiting for you. There we go. Okay, just
waiting for you.
So I'm here for. I got to catch things like this. We're good. We're now square.
I see. I'm all amiss without Jared here, so All right. Well, let's go ahead and get to Delvin for that story synopsis for this issue.
Here we go. The title of this issue is Hide in Plain Sight. Okay, synopsis time. I'm a little tired, and so I'm going to take a sip of this new drink I saw. I'm sure the skull and crossbones are a good sign, right? Spider-Man has Cobra, but Mr. Hyde wants Cobra, so he throws things in Spider-Man and go on a chase through New York. And what in the world? That's some good squishy. Ooh, anyway, despite a twisted ankle, Spidey stays one step ahead of Hyde and eventually just gives Cobra to Hyde with a Spidey tracker on him, of course, and slips into a civilian persona. That drink was crazy. I shouldn't drink more, but I'm pretty thirsty right now. Oh, okay. One more drinky drink. Hyde and Spidey fight again. The Spidey is too quick and eventually throws Hyde off of a multi-story building. Ooh, doggy. Ooh, 14 more sips of that and I'll never do it again, I promise. Anyway, Hyde is knocked out. Cobra tries to escape but runs right into Spidey and literally just gives up. Kind of don't blame him, TBH. Back to you, Pat. If you excuse me, I have a drink to finish.
All right. Thank you, Delvin, for that peppy, pumped up synopsis. Again, that's brought to you by Pat and Dave's. Come down and pump them up.
Come on down and pump it up.
Come down and pump it up. Protein. All right, well, let's go ahead and get to the bric-a-brac for this issue. Is it a first read or a reread? Jason.
First read for me.
Delvin.
First read. Sorry. First read, Pat. It is a first read for me too, Pat. What about you?
It is a first read for me too, so you know what that is. Woo, 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 woo. It's a reading rainbow.
Reading rainbow.
Reading rainbow.
Helicopter blades.
Oh, awesome. All right, well, let's go ahead and get to some high, lows, or what does for this issue. And I'll kick it over to Delvin this time. Delvin, start us off with a high, a low, or a what the.
I'm never mad at a straightforward issue. Well, I guess it depends on what the straightforward is, right? So, like, in this case, I don't mind it because they set up the battle. Like, you know, they were kind of teasing last issue that, it's the Juggernaut. The Juggernaut escaped. It's like, nah, it's not the Juggernaut. It's the Fuggernaut. Spidey, like, had a little bit of an easier time with Mr. Hyde than he did. And what kind of made me smile about that is, if you remember, like when we started this years ago, it's like Spider-Man was sort of getting beat by like regular dudes.
Yes.
Right?
We're getting tired of it.
Right.
Yeah.
He ain't getting beat by regular dudes no more. Like Mr. Hyde is a threat. Like, I mean, like to where I did find it hilarious. Like hilarious enough, it could be like my silly Spidey, but it won't be. Where like Mr. Hyde was basically bragging, like, I almost beat Thor. Like I almost slept with Tyra Banks. Like, sure, like why not? Let's just throw that out. Like, yeah, that was his claim to fame. Is like he never touched Spidey. He never touched Spidey. Like, and so it's just like we have gotten to a point now where it is an expectation that Spider-Man is a formidable hero. And I like that.
No, you bring up a good point, Delvin, with this, of it kind of being straightforward, straight shooting. I liked that. Was it going to be the Juggernaut? And we find out that it's Hyde. I like that
the Juggernaut.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, that's a good name. The
I like it.
So pulling into that story-wise, you know, from the last issue into this one, I liked that consistency of, maybe it is him. Is he back? What's going on? And then it just becomes a different foe, and a foe that you said kind of continues to raise Spider-Man's like hero cred, right?
Yeah, like his profile almost.
Yeah.
It's almost like, he's been playing the
He's got some
Marvel,
karma count.
the karma count. Like the karma count's been up, and he's been bumping up on that strength.
Yeah, he's gotten to go up a level or something.
Yeah.
Like,
we had a couple of comments, by the way. Scotty Cameron, I don't get the musical reference, but someone's going to. He says, "Did you really think you could hide me from? Do you really think you could hide from me, Doctor? Have you not seen the legacy I've carved into the flesh of the city? Even Van Gogh would call it a pretty good impression." I'm not getting it, Scotty. You've got to explain that, unless Pat or Jason.
My music taste ended in 1990. So
I just assumed that if it was something from 86 or something, you'd have been right on it. And by the way, Tony Pennington, welcome to the chat, both of you gentlemen.
Yes.
Says probably shouldn't be watching while I'm working, but damn it, you guys are entertaining. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate it.
All right.
Tony, you can always get a new job. This thing only comes one Sunday a month. So
Jason's right. Yeah, we back that. Now, thank you guys for joining us. Let's go ahead, Jason. Hi, low, or what the?
Hi, it was a page turner. I mean, I was eating it up. I've said before how I really enjoy the comics that show Spider-Man's strengths and skills. And this one really focused on his agility. And my man was dodging Mr. Hyde on a sprained ankle while carrying in one hand that Cobra character. And I mean, and like Delvin said, Hyde couldn't touch him. That just shows how agile this guy is and how fast. And I was just eating it up. I mean, it was just really a remarkable display of his agility, and then also his resourcefulness. Like, he had me fooled when he threw Cobra back at Hyde, and Hyde catches him only to find that little sticky spider trap. It's like, you carry him for a while, you son of a gun. I was rolling laughing. That was almost my silly Spidey moment too. But I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, just page turner, really highlighting both Spidey's agility and his resourcefulness in this book.
I definitely agree with that as well too. When he finally gave Cobra back, I was like, wait a minute, what's he gonna do here? And to have him sticking to it was just brilliant,
Yeah, I was seriously like, in my head, I was like, oh, he's losing karma points for that because he'd gotten the karma points for catching him last episode. He just gave up like 75 or 100 or however many karma points. But then I was like, oh, that was clever what he did.
Oh man, yeah, definitely a good character issue with this one in more ways than one. I think not only in Spider-Man's hero persona, but we also have some developments, kind of things happening in Peter's world as well too, that go on, and like him kind of missing out on a surprise going away party that was supposed to be happening, and that one kind of threw me too. I'm like, oh yeah, where's everybody? What's going on? And then him just bolting out there and knowing, going after what he had to go after, and not being able to bring him to the party. So, but we find out that Deb may know a little more something.
Yeah, that was interesting, wasn't
it? Yeah, that was. There's a little extra development in that little segment that she may be onto something. Let's go ahead and go into round 2. Delvin, do you have more, a high, low, or what there? Do you want to talk more about the developments with Deb?
I'm not sure. I'll get to it. I want to read Scotty's second comment because we asked, and he says, none of you are metalheads. It's Me, Myself, and Hyde by Ice Nine Kills. That's the name of the group. The song is based on the novel Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I met Spencer from Ice Nine Kills at a Comic-Con. I'm aware of Ice Nine Kills, Scotty. I don't listen to them a ton, but I do know that they are a metalcore band, and they more like horrorcore, actually. They do like horror-based metal music. Oh. So, yeah, I know a little bit.
Dang, Delvin.
Yeah.
You got the brain on Delvin on this, man.
Yeah, like I mean, like I've told you, like when I went to Blue Ridge. I don't know if Ice Nine Kills was there or not, but I have heard Ice Nine Kills before.
I was gonna say if anybody would know it, it'd probably be Delvin. Delvin's more of the deep metalhead of us all, right?
That's right. You know, I mean, like the dark web takes me everywhere.
Yeah.
Meow, meow. And since I'm reading comments, Auburn Elvis says, spoiler, the thing that Deb knows won't be revealed in Amazing Spider-Man. It'll be shown over at PP, TSSM, Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man. For those
That's kind
who
of a
aren't
good
in the know.
segue to my second comment, but I'll wait for my turn.
Okay. Yep.
All
Let's see. Is there really anything else? Not really. Other than, well, let's see. Let's talk about Lance Bannon, since that's the only other thing that we haven't talked about. Like, I mean, we get to see a lot about Lance Bannon in that, like, he was like, you know, he's a rival to Peter Parker. He's not afraid to risk his life to get that good shot, which is kind of what sometimes those photographers actually do that. Like they'll put themselves in a precarious position to get something at a rakish angle. And then like we saw that he's kind of a jerk because Spider-Man literally saved him from dying. And he's like, you didn't save my camera, you creep or whatever. And so Spidey webs his mouth shut, which was also
that's funny.
Yet another funny moment. So the last, I'll use my round two to say, you know, talk about Lance Bannon, and just to say for a book that was pretty action-packed and straightforward, Roger Stern made sure to put a lot of comedy bits in there. And I'll add one more thing. Like for some reason, just the first page of the book, like I just really liked it. Like, you know, like you got Mr. Hyde sitting there looking all dangerous, and then you got Spidey in that precarious position, and then Cobra just sort of slinking there. It just started out as like action-packed and fun, and even the exposition explaining it just jumped you right into the action. So thumbs up. Really, really enjoyed it.
You know, that's a good point, Dylan, of that splash screen and bringing you back in, because it's been a while since we read the last issue of 231 where he captures Cobra. So that helped me kind of get myself back into that story and it picking up off again, and just like the menacingness of Hyde, because we didn't see, you know, it kind of was it a juggernaut, what was going on, and then we find out that it's Hyde. And with Cobra being caught, man, that guy gets tossed around how much.
Yeah,
and it pays off at the end.
Yeah, it was. I agree totally. Like the action absolutely was not about Cobra the entire time. So much so that he was like, "Okay, I can escape," and Spider-Man's like, "You want some more?" He's like, "No, I don't. I'm good, bro.
I'm out.
Just take me to jail. I am done with this."
He's just like that piece of scenery that just, you know, like two kids with a ball and just hitting it back and forth to each other like a hot potato, and nobody wants to drop it to be it. Oh man, it was funny. That was good and funny. Jason, we'll go to you. High, low, or what the?
This is kind of a personal low for me, and nothing wrong with this book in particular, but we kind of touched on it with the Deb stuff. I started getting the feeling as I'm reading through this, it's like I'm missing stuff from Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, and somebody in the comments had mentioned that that's where this storyline was taking place. And man, and I've been an X-Men fan, and this is about the same time when they started doing the crossover to X Factor, and then you jump in X-Force, and it's like I just don't like it when I've got to jump books to figure out, you know, what's going on in the story. I just, you know, want my Amazing Spider-Man storyline to be tight, self-contained, and, you know, and keep it going. But
this was kind of the start of things, right? Because Spec Spidey was relatively new at the time. The idea of a hero being in multiple books was kind of new at the time too.
Yeah.
So like, I guess they just decided that Spidey was popular enough that they could get away with it. I do agree with what you're saying. Like, I think that, but maybe we wouldn't have seen Deb Whitman at all then if we didn't have, you know, the ability to jump between two books. So I get what you're saying, and I actually mostly agree with it, because that's kind of where I am now with my comic book reading. Like, I only read a few new issues now. So it's like, if I'm reading Amazing Spider-Man, I would love to see the story in Amazing Spider-Man, and not like, oh, you need to read Super Spectacular Spider-Man issue 2A Alpha Bravo Charlie. I'm like, I'm good. I'll just figure it out here. Catch me up.
Yeah, I feel both ways about it as well too. I do like a good story that's being told, and if it crosses over to another one and it continues to tell that story there, I don't mind that. But there is sometimes, like, if this is all you could afford is this one, what do you do back then? And sometimes, you, like Delvin said right now, what do you do now when you may not want that other issue, because could be multiple reasons of why you don't, and maybe just don't want more to read as well too.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if they did it like, remember when we did that Superman one, and they had multiple Superman titles going on.
Yep, they had the
and
try
the,
and yeah,
yeah. So you can kind of follow it if you
can follow it that way. Yeah,
yeah.
That I would agree with. I like that concept. I think maybe this is just like the beginnings of something like that, because that didn't happen till 91 in the Superman series, and here we are in 82. So they artists and that learned from then. Yeah,
I gotta say, I see Scotty's comment. He likes the cross titles. He says and that it makes it makes more content for the trades and everything, and I can't argue with that. But Scotty, I had enough for 2 books, man. So you can't water down the titles. That's all I'm saying.
It's interesting. Like, for instance, like I remember when X-Men would have these enormous crossovers, like Executioner Song and stuff like that, and it was like a 12-parter, and I'm like, how in the heck did I pick all of those up? I didn't have any money.
I'm lucky at the time. Same for me. Like when they started doing all those big crossovers, or you had the annuals events and all that, where you had to get the whole story. Man, it took a while. Luckily, I had a comic shop that you could, hey, can you put that in my box for me? And I'll pick it up later.
Yeah.
Once I had more dispendable money.
I got to sell some more tacos to pick up these books.
Exactly. Or I had to, peddle more newspapers as a kid is what I had to do. So, all right. Well, does anybody have anything else on this issue?
I'm just going to read 2 more comments. One is about the book itself. Auburn Elvis says, according to the 1984 Marvel superhero role-playing game, Mr. Hyde has incredible body armor. So all of Spidey's punches are pretty much doing 0 damage, dropping his MFA out of a multi-story building. However, that did some damage. And just because I am nerding out on music, Scotty Cameron also said that song from Ice Nine Kills was from their 2016 album, Every Trick in the Book, which came before 2018 when they released The Silver Scream, their most accomplished album. So anything before that might be obscure. Very similar to Sleep Token that came out in 2016, and people didn't know about their stuff until about the last couple of years, where they have exploded. Sleep Token is kind of considered metal, even though they're not exactly metal. Next time, I'll just start a podcast, called 120 Minutes. I'm sure Matt Penfield would not mind. Anyway, back to you, Pat.
All right. I love the crossover that we have, and we're learning not only about Spider-Man and his foes, but also heavy metal. Gotta love it. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into some silly Spidey moments. Jason, do you have a silly Spidey moment?
Delvin touched on it. It was when he webbed Bannon's mouth shut, man. I was laughing because the way they did it in the book, it's like he goes and he saves basically like his Peter Parker frenemy,
Yeah. Yep.
And I wonder, like, if there's because he didn't know who he was rescuing at the time. Like, He could have, if he known it was Bannon, go, oh no.
He may have saved the camera instead and got the pictures instead of
with the camera back. Let Bannon splat on the ground and, hey, Jonah, look at these pictures I got. He probably would have lost some karma though. I'll check in with Auburn on that. A little bit. But yeah, it was just funny the way he did it because he saves him and Bannon's mouthing off to him, and then when he turns around, and then that panel when his mouth is just webbed shut. It's that little bit of, Spider-Man's a hero, and he's still like, at this point he's like in his early 20s still. He's a grad student, so he's got that little prankster, little wicked edge to him that I just really appreciated, and it just that part made me laugh out loud. So I'm choosing that as my silly Spidey moment.
All right, yeah, there was a lot of good comedy moments in this one as well. Delvin, do you have a silly Spidey?
There were quite a few. Like, there are a few times in this book I actually laughed out loud, and I appreciated it. And during the fight with Hyde in the condo, basically, he ambushes and says, Ixnay Hyde, Cobra squishing is definitely out of season. And it's like, Spider-Man, how? And he's like, how'd I find you? Simple. I looked under the yellow pages under Big Dumb Jerks. I don't know, just simple. It's simple like that. Just absolutely does it for me. So yeah. What about you, Pat?
I think I know, but
you guys probably know. I mean, there were so many good ones in here. Just and Hyde even mentions it. It's like, you continuing to say these stuff to me, you're getting me angry. And again, that I guess that's the downfall, because Spidey uses his that kind of talk to really throw his enemies off. But the one I like, of course, is as they're fighting in the beginning, Hyde's kind of reaching for Cobra, and Spider-Man's pulling away and goes, you still can't lay a mitt on me, Snuggums.
I actually laughed at that one too.
Yeah, I did.
They call him Snuggums.
Snuggums.
I'll bet Delvin did the same thing I did. I was like, I'll leave that one for Pat. Just move on.
Yeah, you know me. I love the name, the names he calls people. They're fun. He's got a heart, and he wants to just love people and wants to hug them and squeeze them and call them Snuggums. They just don't want to do that.
Mm-mm.
All right, let's go ahead and get to the ratings for this issue. As a reminder, on a 1 through 5 rating is what we do. 5 is you loved it. It tickled your tummy feathers. 4, you really liked it. 3, liked it. 2, you didn't like it.
You can join in on this, Jason.
I'll do it on 1.
And 1, you hated it. It ruffled your tummy feathers.
See, I can't growl. I can't growl like that.
All right, well, let's go ahead and go to Delvin.
All right. Before I give my ratings, more comments. Tony Pennington says, would it kill you guys to talk about a poison or the crew? Yes, it would. It would literally kill me. So Scotty Cameron adds, Bad Omens is a similar story to Ice Nine Kills and Sleep Token. Ice Nine Kills has been around since 2006 and didn't explode until 2018. Now they have 2 graphic novels about them, Inked in Blood from Z2 Comics. So it does relate back to comic books. That's cool. I know about Bad Omens too. Loves the Death of Peace of Mind is one of their most famous songs, and it's been covered quite a bit. Most recently by Daughtry. Any event, 4 for Spidey 232. It was very fun. I enjoyed it a lot. It's seriously creeping on 5 territory in that, it's a great Spidey story. It has a little bit of elements from his personal life. Like Roger Stern is such a good writer. He made a point just to touch on it just for a little bit, and then just went right back to the action. And how he got to the action of Spidey ambushing Hyde was a good touch, and it almost said like exactly what he thought of Hyde as a villain too. It's like, I'll give him to you. You're not gonna harm him. Like, I'll find you before you harm him, and I'll just come back and kick your butt dead because you can't even touch me. So, like, very, very, very good. I give it the highest of 4s.
All right. A very high 4 for Delvin.
1 second. And Auburn Elvis says this issue is a 5. So it gets at 5 from Auburn Elvis.
Jason, are you at a 4 or a 5?
I'm at a 5. I'm with Auburn Elvis mainly because I need to flatter him to get the karma points, but no, I'm in full agreement. It was a 5 for me. This is an issue that I read through it. Like I tore through this thing, man, and it's one of the most fun comics I've read in a while. Even with the modern stuff that I'm reading today, this one ranked right up there. And like Delvin said, I thought it was really kind of masterful how he tricks Hyde and webbing himself to Cobra, and then and that basically. But I think for some reason I'm thinking his web lasts like 2 hours or something. So like, okay, I got 2 hours now. 1 hour. I got 1 hour to go clean out my desk basically and get the heck out of there. So he's like balancing his Spider-Man life with his Peter Parker life, and it's just it's so much fun to read. It's not part of a huge major story arc or anything, but as far as comic book writing goes, this was great. The art was great, and page turner. 5 for me.
All right. 5 for Jason and for Auburn Elvis. I am going to agree with you guys at a 5. I really enjoyed it too. I'm surprised. The cover was definitely one that threw me off, but as I'm reading it, the action, the pacing, the other character development that's going on, I really enjoyed it and had fun reading all the way through it. And what's going to happen next, I don't know, but I want to find out.
Well, I can tell you what happens next. Tarantula shows up. So another villain that Spider-Man's basically going to kick his butt. Because the Tarantula's only powers are pointy shoes. Like it's not much. Yeah, but I also want to say, like, I am more than happy, like, to bump it up to a 5. Because, like, I don't want to be left alone. But also, it is. Like, I remember talking in 230 about how I just felt, and 229 for that matter, about how it just felt like it's a quintessential Spider-Man book. Roger Stern can write his behind off. He knows what he's doing, and he absolutely knows what he's doing with Spider-Man. Like, for you to be able to combine action plus a little bit of advancing the storyline, which means that they are following a plot, which is something I've kind of complained about, like in recent months concerning Amazing Spider-Man, and then action plus is like a continuity plus humor. Okay, yeah, that's an easy bump up to a 5.
All right. So Delvin, it seems that you're going to join us 4 cool guys at a 5 because it seems like you want to have nothing but a good time, and it doesn't get better than this.
Motley
See, Tony,
Crue.
I know. I can do Poison.
That's
Tony.
Poison.
Yes.
Is that wait?
Nothing but a good time.
Nothing but a good time. But you said something that was Motley Crue before that.
I don't know. Maybe I did or not. I know. I took a walk on the wild side. Who knows?
We appeal to all
some
musical
Dr.
taste
Feelgood.
here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I noticed in this chat there are no girls.
Yes. Strangely enough, that Brett Michaels will be in my backyard just about next week, playing for the fair. So
nice.
And while I appreciate that, Pat, you're forgetting something, right?
I am. That means 5 cool guys at a 5. That means it's time for everybody to get up now.
Everybody get up.
Singing 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Make
Get down now.
I gotta keep us on here. Like I feel like Jared will be somewhat proud of that.
Somewhat.
All
right. Well, let's keep moving on here as we get to Karma Count with Auburn Elvis. Let's go ahead and take a quick guess around how many karma is Peter going to get for this issue. Jason, we'll start with you.
80 karma points.
All right. Delvin?
I mean, I don't like their battle caused a little bit of damage with the water tower, but he saved a life in Lance Bannon, and he absolutely just whooped Hyde's butt. A little more property damage, but he also, I'm going to go 100. I'm going to go 100.
Okay. I will meet in the middle at 90. Just to play it safe. See if I can get anywhere in between, because I really don't know how the count works. So I'm betting in between. But let's go ahead and find out.
I guess I'm your karma, and I love it. I can't get enough of it. There's nothing above it.
Hi Crusaders, this is Auburn Elvis. Have you ever wondered if superheroes can improve their strength by working out? According to the 1984 Marvel superhero role-playing game, they can, but it ain't easy. In the game, heroes gain and lose karma for how heroic their actions are. Karma can be saved up over time and spent to improve a hero's ability scores. Improving an ability costs 10 times its current score, so if Spider-Man wanted to improve his strength of a 40 up to a 41, it would cost him 400 karma. To give you an idea of how long it would take Spidey to earn that much karma, here's the karma count for his actions in this issue. Amazing Spider-Man 232 starts off with so much property damage, I'm just going to cap it off at minus 25 karma. Spidey does get in a few good lines, so he's going to earn 5 karma back for that role-playing bonus. Later in the battle, he also saves Lance Bannon from a fatal fall, earning 20 karma for that rescue. Sadly, that did allow Hyde to get away with the unconscious Cobra, which is technically a 20-point private defeat for Spider-Man, since his main job was to prevent that very thing from happening. Back at the university, Peter loses 5 karma for ruining his own surprise party over the science thing that he invented last issue. A little later on, Spidey tracks down Hyde and Cobra, and after a long battle involving 10 more points of property damage, he finally defeats Mr. Hyde. Spidey earns 5 karma for the witty banter, 20 karma for preventing the violent crime about to be perpetrated on Cobra, 75 karma for defeating the monstrous Mr. Hyde, and 20 karma for the arrest of the 2 supervillains. Adding all that up, Spider-Man gains a total of 85 karma for this issue. If he were to do this 4 more times, he'd earn enough karma to improve his strength from a 40 to a 41. I'm Auburn Elvis. Thank you very much for listening to this karma count. Play us something to soak our feet to, Joe November.
I guess I'm your karma, and I love it. I can't get enough of it. There's nothing above it.
All right, karma count. So, who's the winner? Is it
we
Jason?
both are?
We both are winners.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take
well,
that.
the important thing, Delvin isn't. That's really important.
So if it depends. If we're playing Price is Right rules, then Jason won. Like, because he didn't go over, right?
No, I think I did go over because was it 80?
You said 80.
You said 80.
I said 80.
It was 85.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. So actually, Auburn Elvis said, I think my math was 5 points off. The total should be 80. So Jason got it exactly.
Oh, see, I buttered him up on the score. That's where that came in.
Look at that. Delvin just doesn't want to be a loser by himself. 2 losing guys.
Oh, yeah. I absolutely wanted to cause division there. I'm not going to have y'all ganging up on me. I'm too smart for that. You know?
Well, thank you, Auburn Elvis, for Karma Count. Always having a game within that game is fun. And it doesn't matter who wins or who loses.
I agree.
It's
completely irrelevant. It does not matter at all.
No, not at all. No.
It mattered for this game, but most other games.
Yep. Nope. Doesn't matter at all. Just just not a thing. Like, I mean, like who like childishly wants to talk about who wins and who loses?
Not at this point. No, we say that stuff for later on.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to bring us to the end of this part of the show. Got a comment or a question? Send us an email at contact@longboxcrusade.com or make a comment on the Longbox Crusade social medias. We will be right back. Okay. You guys ready? We'll roll into the next one.
Let's do it.
Let me just change the picture. Do that right now while I remember. Boom. There we go. All right. We'll head on to it. Welcome back from the break. Now let's get to the second featured comic for this episode, which is determined by our Crusader Club members. Club members get to vote on this segment using the online poll only available on the Longbox Crusade page at patreon.com. As always, we want to thank our Crusader Club members for voting to help determine the programming for this show. And definitely from Jared's heart, he wishes you and thanks you all as well too. If you want to get in on that voting and all of the other amazing benefits of being a Crusaders Club member, just head on over to patreon.com and search for Longbox Crusade. You can join us for as little as $1 per month and help determine what each episode's second feature will be. For this episode, the Crusader Club members selected ElfQuest. ElfQuest.
Sean Connery's favorite.
ElfQuest. That was a really good Sean Connery too, wasn't it? ElfQuest. All right. Is ElfQuest issue number 13. The credits for this issue are provided by Mike's Amazing World of Comics website. Publisher was Warp Comics. The cover date is June 1982. But its on sale date was June 28th of 1982. The cover price is $1.50 for this one. Ooh, that's a big price jump.
That's pretty steep for early 80s. Like if you translate that to today's prices, that's like $47.
Exactly. Yeah, that's good math, Dylan. That's almost half.
Thank you, Pat.
The editor was Richard Peeney. The plotter was Richard Peeney. Writer, artist, and letterers go to Wendy Peeney. This is reprinted in ElfQuest number 20 from 1987 and ElfQuest number 21 from 1987. And the ElfQuest Archives Volume 3 hardcover. Cover credits go to artist Wendy Peeney as well. All right, well, let's go ahead and get to cover description. I'm going to have Jason do this one, covering for Jared.
All righty, let me bring this bad boy up. And all right, so Jared says, so the Crusaders Club finally took pity on me and voted for something other than X-Men. Because I'm not on this episode, that makes total sense. So now I'm bitter. Well, bitterer than usual. So in order to find calm and tranquility, I think it's time for a haiku cover description. Here's the haiku. ElfQuest in black font. 2 elves on green forest sphere. Wolf Rider with fish. Back to you.
Pat, got a question. What's a haiku?
I still don't know, Delvin. After all these years. It's some sort of a 5x5 rhyme.
You're getting closer. You're closer. Don't tell them. Don't ruin my bit.
I don't know.
How many years are we going to let him struggle with this?
At least 17, Jason.
I mean, on my deathbed, can I reveal it to him?
Yes. Yes, please. I'll be waiting for that to come.
Just don't die anytime soon.
I don't know. Haikus. I don't know. I don't get it. But it sounds nice. Sounds interesting. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get some cover thoughts on the cover. We'll go to Delvin. What do you think of the cover?
I like the cover. It's cool. I'm a fan of wolves. I like wolves. Like Angelica and her husband, Andre.
Their whole pack.
All right, the wolf pack and
Pack.
Dominic and Antonio and Vincent, the wolf pack as well. They'll hear that and hopefully they smell. I do like the cover though. It looks like it would belong on the cover of like a fantasy book. And I'm not saying that flippantly. I'm saying that with some sincerity. You know, you got your tribal looking chicks there, and then you got a wolf, and then there's something by the wolf. I don't know what that is. But so like looks like a hunter of some sort. So yeah, it's a good cover. I sort of like the color choice as well, highlighting like the wolf and the like hunter beside it is in dark, and then like there's like the elfin maidens or warriors. They're like in lighter. They're white, but like the brown highlights and then the green background. I do like it. It's a good cover.
Yeah, it's got that. I think you put it right there with that fantasy going on of that elves and wolves and just hanging out. And I don't know, now that I read the story, I know what that figure is, but when I first saw the cover, I didn't know what what the figure next to the wolf was. But Jason, let's go ahead and get your thoughts on the cover.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool, Delvin. You hit the nail on the head. This is kind of like 1982 is kind of like when I was getting into Dungeons and Dragons, and it kind of has that Dungeons and Dragons art feel vibe to it. I mean, even the ElfQuest title looks really, really cool. Just the design of the title, it being in black, the way the layout is designed. You got a lot of white space on just blank space on the upper corners and kind of down the sides, and then you've got that green sphere in the middle that draws your attention to the brownish characters taking center stage. And after reading the comic, we kind of know that this is kind of traces the lineage of Cutter and the Wolf Riders, and this is like their ancestor, so to speak. And then you've kind of got the women in the background, the warrior women, and just the kind of like the almost watercolor or pencil watercolor tone to the colors is very unique and really draws your eye into it. So conversely to the Spider-Man book we talked about, this one probably would want to make me pick this comic up and flip through it. That $1.50 price tag back though in 1982 probably had me be putting it back on the shelf because, you know, I couldn't be affording no $1.50 comics back then.
Well, you know, back then this was, you know, Warp Comics. It's an independent, and for the price, you definitely got your stories worth in it.
You did,
as this was a 33-page story compared to what we would normally get. You know, this is something, a page number that Delvin would bring to Crusade Miss.
This is Delvin size book.
Delvin size, yes. But we just talked about, it doesn't matter your wins and your losses at all. It doesn't matter.
So I have comments to read. There are mixed comments about this. Matt Pozzo says it's a kind of striking cover. He give it a 4 for being unique. We haven't gotten a ratings yet, but just read the comment.
All right.
Tony Pennington says he don't like it. And then says the title banner doesn't fit the image. So, like, I mean, it's a small sample size, but like we're house divided right now. I'll be interested to see what Auburn Elvis thought about it, and if Scotty's still around, of any like what y'all think about the cover as well.
Definitely. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into some cover ratings since you already brought that up. We'll go ahead and figure out how we want to rate this cover on a scale of 1 to 5. 5 is you loved it. 4, you really liked it.
Hold on. Start that again, Pat.
Okay. 5 is you loved it.
Oh.
4, you really liked it. Oh. 3, it was okay. You liked it. 2, you didn't like it. And 1, you hated it. Don't got nothing?
I thought Jason was about to.
Oh, sorry. I was on mute. Man, I gave a good growl and everything. Here we go.
All right. Let's go ahead and find out. Delvin, how would you rate this cover?
I would rate it at a high 3. It is a high 3,
High 3
for me.
Jason.
I think I'm with Matt on this one. I'm going to give it a 4. It's unique enough that it really drew my eye. And like I said, I would pick it up. Not a book that I read, in my youth or even am reading today, but definitely striking enough that I'm interested in what's going on in the interior.
All right. And I am with Delvin. I think it's a 3, a little higher of a 3 for me, just because it's ElfQuest, and I do like ElfQuest. I always find it fascinating. But I think it's the colors. If this was just black and white, that'd probably be a cool looking cover. Just with the pencils alone, I think would be really neat. But the colors kind of washes it out for me. But still interesting. And with that, let's go ahead and get a story synopsis from Jason.
All right. Let me switch over screens here really quick. All right. I'm going to do my best here. The title was called The Secret of the Wolf Riders. Cutter and his gang of wolf riders have found their way to a cave-dwelling group of elves led by Lord Voek and an enigmatic mystic named Winnowell. The crew has come in search of knowledge of their history, yet the two clans both have secrets. More so, the cultures are vastly different. For example, whereas Cutter's wolf riders live and thrive in the outside forest, Lord Voek's people dwell in the dark cave, and only 8 of their people can venture outside its confines. Winnowell seems to have some evil machinations and is dead set on removing Cutter's people from the mountain.
Jason.
Yes.
Machinations. Please continue.
Okay. The issue culminates, Delvin.
Culmination.
In a showdown between Cutter and Winnowell, when the latter reveals the true history of Cutter's lineage, that he is, in fact, descended from a mix of elves and wolves. Winnowell derisively points out that this makes his kind weak and inferior, but when she tries to use her formidable magic on him, she discovers that his lineage gives him an animalistic strength of will as well. Defeated, Winnowell nearly falls prey to Cutter's sword until Lita, Cutter's mate and team magic wielder, is able to get through to him and convinces him to spare Winnowell's life. Lita realizes that the success of the team's quest is dependent on discovering the secrets within the mountain, and the team is able to remain in the dark labyrinth for now. That's what I interpreted. I hope I got it right. It's the best I got. Maybe the audience can help Old Weasel Skull out on this one.
Thank you, thank you, Jason. I think you did cover it pretty good. From this, it was a long story to get through. Again, hence the $1.50 charge for it. All the packing that they have going in on this one is a lot. But let's uncover that. But first, let's go ahead and get to some bric-a-brac. Is it a first read or a reread? And we'll start with Delvin.
First read, Pat.
Jason?
First read for me.
And it is a first read for me too. So, woo! That means it's a double rainbow. Double rainbow. Oh, yeah. Double rainbow.
Oh!
Gonna howl at the rainbow. All right, let's get to some high, lows, or what does. And we'll go to Delvin again. Round 1 of a high, low, and what the, Delvin?
Man, I got nothing. I read this book and I was like, what's going on? And it's rare that I do that. Like, I consider myself a kind of smart guy, and I read it. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. The only person I remember Cutter because we've read some ElfQuest before, and I remember liking it, but this one just seems so steeped in lore. I was just like, oh my God, my head's spinning. I don't get it. So I appreciate Jason's synopsis. I do. And I absolutely don't want to dump on something as legendary as ElfQuest. I can only say for this particular issue, I just didn't get it.
All right. That's fair enough. I believe, maybe I could be wrong too, since we've been doing this for a while. This is like maybe our third ElfQuest we've read.
We've done a couple, yeah.
One I brought in the beginning, earlier on for Crusademas, earlier on.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think we had one as part of this that we covered, possibly. I think, or did somebody else? I can't remember.
I definitely remember the one for Crusademas.
Yeah.
And I remember liking that one an awful lot.
Yeah. So it definitely, you got to have a taste for that. And this, I kind of figured, Delvin, this wasn't going to be up your alley a little bit, just knowing your taste in it. Jason, maybe a little bit. For me, I like that swordy, sandally kind of a fantasy stuff. But Jason, you got high, low, or what the?
I guess before I get into it, let me grab Matt's question here. Matt asked, so inside them at some point was one or more wolves. I think the gist of it was like generations ago, like 10 generations ago, and the elves have seemed to like kind of lost their history. I think that's part of the quest that they're on, to kind of find where they come from. And so like 10 generations ago, this elf and their people, they came upon hard times where basically there was no food to eat. People were starving. So they made a deal with some elvish god. And so the elvish god kind of like had them, they could communicate with wolves, and so Cutter's ancestor of generations ago learned from the wolves how to hunt, and she became more wolf as time went on, and then she eventually kind of became a wolf, joined the pack, and then the litter that she bred was kind of half wolf, half elvish, I think, and then they could so they basically were mixed with wolves, and that's what gives them their power.
Oh, sweet Jeebus.
I think that's what happened, man.
That's the way the story kind of played out.
There were a lot of drugs in the 80s. That's all I can say. I don't know. But anyway, so I wanted to address that. I didn't want that to go unanswered. It seemed to be a question that was lingering out there. That's the best I got. Hi, I like the environment of the mountain. It kind of reminded me of what was the mountain in Lord of the Rings? The dwarf mountain. Mines of Moria. Mines of Moria.
Yep.
So it kind of had that. It was a cool little. It was an element that we're not used to seeing our ElfQuest characters who thrive out in the woods and like the outside, and now they're kind of confined in the space. They don't really like it, but they have to be there to learn more. I'm not exactly sure, because the story kind of takes us. We're picking up where something left off. So I'm not sure what the fundamental questions they're trying to answer are, or why they're trying to answer them. But the issue really stresses that it's important for them to be here at this time. And it's kind of a cool yet uncomfortable environment for them to be in. And I appreciated that element of the book. and I'm really stretching.
Yeah,
I don't know what I'm going to say
yeah.
for round 2.
All right. Well, I think you kind of covered it pretty well. What was in the story? It was a long one, packed with a lot of information about the elves and where they're from and kind of their environment. You know, their Cutter and his group are kind of nomads. So right now, because their place got burnt down, and so now they're out seeking, you know, where do they come from, other people, and they're finding that there are other elves and groups out there that they all kind of belong to, in sort of a high elf that were originally came to the planet, and from there spread out and made different elf, different cities and different groups and tribes, I guess. Very interesting. We are in a story, part of a story that I guess we're not used to. We're kind of just throwing into it on this one, not going through the other 12 issues. I think we've covered one or two of them at an earlier stage of this. But interesting to see where they are now in the story development with them. You know, especially we get to see, I think the last time we read an ElfQuest, Cutter was kind of trying to woo Lita.
Yeah.
And so now we see, they already got kids now, and what's happening there, and how she still was maybe keeping a secret that she knew about this, or at least from her mystic abilities that she has. So, you know, I do find it interesting. And ElfQuest has always been one of those things that as a kid, sitting on a floor in a Walden's book, where they had these in the bigger graphic novel size, the thicker trade paperbacks of those, that I would just kind of pour over the picturing of that. But I'll get to that in maybe the next high, or maybe you guys will get to that part of it. But let's find out. Delvin, you got another high, low, or what the?
Nope, but I do have some comments. Tony Pennington says, is it safe to assume that Wendy and Richard Penny studied the works and words of Timothy Leary? I don't know who Timothy Leary is. Do either of you know who Timothy Leary is? I'm getting some head nods, so I'm going to look it up.
I know Dennis Leary.
And Matt also says possibly Tarzan, but with wolves. I will also. Then Tony Pennington also has "Need Some Bark at the Moon" rolling in the background. I have heard of "Bark in the Moon," but I was always I'm reminded of I don't know how much newer song it is, but by a guy Sean James, called "The Wild One." It's a very good song, and it starts with "He was raised by wolves." That's the first lyric of the song. It's a very good one. I'm going to look up who Timothy Leary is. That's what I will do for the remainder of my round 2, while you two talk about whatever the heck it is that happened in this book.
All right. Well, while Devin does that, we'll get back to him. Jason, do you got a high, low, or what the?
I'll go with another high. I like the mystery of it. Again, I'm missing context, but I get the sense that Lita knows more than what she's letting on. Like she reluctantly has to reveal this history to Cutter, which is interesting because she and Cutter have quite a love for one another. So you're wondering like why she's keeping these secrets. Why you got to assume she's protecting him from something. Mm-hmm. So there's that tension there. I like that. And then on the other side with the cave dwellers, Willowell, she's obviously up for something. I was kind of getting a Screamo worm tongue vibe from her. Like, like maybe she's manipulating Lord Voic and the people. And so she's obviously keeping some secrets too. So there's definitely some mystery. There's a lot of meat here. And you know, it's like a big buffet and I'm coming in the middle of it and I don't know where to like fit in here, but there's definitely a lot going on, which I appreciated.
Yeah. Oh, I think I agree with you too. And it's interesting to see the different dynamics between the tribes that you have, you know, because Lita is from a different tribe of elves as well too, that we found out. So her getting with Cutter, and then now them finding these dwellers, and somebody that actually has more of a high elf, that has an elf that has more of the history that they're looking for to unravel here, and we get a little bit more of it. I know in one that we did cover, we saw a little bit about how Cutter's dad, you know, fought.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah,
fought and died. So we continue to get a little bit more of that story with ElfQuest, and so I think it's a story that you probably got to read through it all. You just can't get the bits and pieces of it.
I definitely felt that it's one that it doesn't apologize for just going with the story. There's not a big obligation to the new reader to jump on this book. It's like,
that is true.
You either
need to read
right. It's up to you to catch up.
Yeah, and I think that could be a hinder, or it could be something that gets you interested in doing it. So, and I think that's what it did for me. It got me interested in wanting to read it out. But what I really caught my eye is the art in this one, man.
Oh, the art's beautiful. Yeah,
the art is just beautiful. Wendy Pini is just amazing art to see, and you know, this is, you know, her doing it all and getting it all done, and now that is just like cranking out 33 pages, you know, in issue 13. So that means 12 other comics were 33 pages long of her artwork, and it's just beautiful to see and look at, and it does help tell the story as well too in this one. Is it sometimes a little scary? Yeah. Is it sometimes interesting and provocative? Yeah. It's got all that, and I wish nowadays that they could turn this would be a good, you know, seasonal story to go through. And I wish one of the big streamings or somebody would pick this up and do it either in live action, could possibly do it, or even if you just do it in an animation style. I think it would be really cool.
Yeah, that would be neat.
Delvin, what have you found?
I found that Timothy Francis Leary was an American psychologist and author known for his strong advocacy of psychedelic drugs.
Oh.
Well, you know, I wish we would have covered this earlier, because when we were at Heroes Con, the Peonies were there. We could have asked them, hey, were you guys on drugs when you did this?
I'm sure they would have loved that quote. Yeah. Are the drugs in the room with us?
No, who knows? Back then, this was just, you know, this is inventive, and it's an indie comic that's going on right now, and so very different from the mainstream, as you can see when we just read the Spider-Man one. This is way different than the mainstream comics that were being produced at the time. Anybody else have anything else for this issue?
I just wanted to welcome Doc Strange into the chat here, and he said, "Holy crap, X-Men got best out by ElfQuest." Yes, Doc Strange, and I think, you know, I'm in an uncomfortable position, and Jared missed it. Jared missed it.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll have X-Men back by the time Jared returns.
Yes, hopefully, so I can read a book that I know what the heck's going on.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to remember Jared's thoughts on the other few ElfQuests that we did cover too. I think he kind of liked it.
I'm sure he kind of liked it, in that, like, the fantasy books are not necessarily his thing, but he can have an appreciation for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, I think with that, let's go ahead and get to who was a high elf, or as I decided to change this one, who was the elf on the shelf for this issue? Now let's go to Delvin.
Let's give Jason 2 people to choose from.
Okay.
But I can read a comment mirroring what Jason said earlier. Scott O'Neill, who is new to the chat, says, I bet Timothy Leary has a brother Dennis, who is a real a-hole who drives really slow in the ultra-fast lane while people behind him are going insane. Over to you, Jason.
I guess for me, it would be Cutter. I think Cutter kind of the revelation that of Cutter's lineage that culminated in his ability thank you, to resist was it Willowell? I don't remember. Winnowell. Her spells, which I get the sense are quite advanced.
Mm-hmm.
Like
she's got some dark magic with her.
Yeah, he found a different gear in this, in this fight and had her beat. So I'm going to give it to Cutter in this one.
Okay. And I will give it to Lita on this one as well, even though she was trying to protect Cutter and everybody from learning some of this information, just because, I think she probably didn't want him to get scared away or move on, because he needs to know this information, but probably needs it fed in a certain way to him to help him continue with his leadership. But I think it came out in the right way, and she did her best to ask for forgiveness, just, for keeping it from him, and just knowing that, they're, what do they call them? Soulmates, or they're mates that have drawn them together. So
yeah,
it's hard for them to, it was probably hard for her to, to hold on to that too, all this time. So I'll give it to her for, admitting her wrongs and asking for forgiveness on that one. All right. Let's go ahead and get to the ratings for this issue. Once again, it's a 1 through 5 rating. 5 is you loved it. 5 is you loved it.
Oh,
thank you.
Oh yeah, we did. How? It's been so long since we did that. At least in my head, since we just went about 30 straight minutes of stuff that I had no idea. Anyway, Go ahead with 4, Pat.
Okay. 4 is you really liked it.
Oh.
3, liked it. 2, didn't like it. And 1, you hated it.
Oh, yeah, Jason.
Let's go ahead and find out. Jason, start us off. 1 through 5.
This is a hard one for me, just because I just really don't have much context except for the 1 or 2 other issues that we've dabbled in over the years. I'm going to give it a 3, just because I can't say I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, ElfQuest has such a hardcore following, which I witnessed firsthand at Heroes Con and all the people that were lining up to see the peonies. So, I mean, all those fans can't be wrong. There's got to be something here. And even though I didn't quite get it, there's enough goodness here for me to hold on and give it a 3.
All right. Delvin, 1 through 5.
For the first time that I am aware of on Longbox Crusade history, I'm giving this an NA. because I read it. I honestly did read it. But I was just I don't know what happened. There was nothing for me mentally to gravitate onto, but I don't want to disrespect ElfQuest. I don't. I know what a legendary property it is. There was just something about it that, for whatever reason, when I read it last night, it did not click. and that's okay. Like I don't want to bash
okay.
the property. I definitely don't want to bash anyone that doesn't like it. I'm just going to go ahead and just be absolute Switzerland on this and give it an NA to be as fair to the property as possible.
All right. I guess this is the first time, so
yeah, I don't know how I feel about
I don't
that.
know
If
what to
that's a
do here.
violation of the laws, or
It's not a
like,
half.
How? It's not halvesies. I don't want to, like, if I gave, like, well, I give it a 3, it's disingenuous because, like, I can't even say that I know enough about it to give it a 3.
Oh, I get it. And I guess we will have to consult with our HR representative, Laurel, when she comes to work.
I agree.
And we'll get it straightened out at that point.
Yes.
For me, I think I'm with Jason just off of this issue. Is I liked it. I'm intrigued by it. Just because I haven't read ElfQuest in a while. I've read the earlier stuff, like as I mentioned. So this is getting into a little bit newer territory for me. But I haven't gotten into it yet. So I am intrigued again of like, man, I got to get back to reading some ElfQuest and just take time to read this whole story out, because there's got to be some good love for it. And I think it's just a story that you can't read coming into it like this. You need to have that bigger background, that bigger idea of the universe that this is in, to do it. So I liked it. I want to read more as we go. So with that, that's going to bring us to the end of this part of the show. You got a comment or a question? You like ElfQuest? We want to hear about it. Tell us. What's your thoughts on it? The good, the bad. We definitely want to hear from you. And you can do that by either leaving us a voicemail that we will play later on in the show. And that you can be done by leaving it a message at 707-532-5269. That's 707-532-LBOX.
Pick up the phone.
We will be right back. Okay, this is it.
Yep. Do we have any comments and stuff from the last one?
Oh, you know what? I didn't get that filled in there. That was my bad. So, no.
Okay, vamp for me. I need 1 minute. I will be right back.
Okay.
Talk to the. I got talk to the audience. Like, we didn't get a ton of chat about ElfQuest per se. So, like, maybe the audience is like, maybe they have some like really strong feelings about ElfQuest that they like to discuss for about 1 minute and 30 seconds.
1 minute and 30 seconds.
1 minute and 30 seconds. We are counting. So, all right. Anybody in the chat listening in not only in Facebook or YouTube, go ahead and chat with us out on the Twitter as well too. Let us know if you're an ElfQuest fan, what your thoughts are on it. We'd love to hear from you.
I think I need to up my metal music game, judging by the conversations going on over here in the comments. Like,
Tony says, I want to learn about it. So cool.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping maybe we had some hardcore ElfQuest fans that would show up today, because, you know, when you asked, you going to do the synopsis? I was like, sure, no problem. Then I read it, and I was like, what the heck do I write? What did I read?
I know. I behind the scenes, you know, Jason normally does, you know, the synopsis for the second book all the time. And I'm like, hey, can you do this one? And no, it was a little heavier page, but if anybody could do it, Jason, I knew it was you, because yeah, you know, this was something I think would you'd kind of like.
Yeah, I'm still confused, because at the very beginning of the book you had somebody that was sick or dying in it, and then it kind of rolled over into the story. So so I was trying to figure out what was going on there.
What it had to do with that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. There was something that had an egg. There was an egg in there. And
the egg is like, it's, to me, I think that's what the egg was like in the big mountain or whatever, is what kind of keeps them together or gives the mountain its power.
And there were 6 layers to the egg. I was wondering if those 6
an egg
layers
within an egg, kind of like the Russian nesting dolls is what they
Right.
say. And one of them said, like, well, you can see the last egg, but you need to kind of just stare at it, and you'll eventually see it through the others. Interesting. Very deep.
They're deep, man.
Yes. Let's see. Dr. Strange says, never read any. I definitely want to eventually, though. And let's see. And Scott says the cover confuses me. They are in the wilderness, making their own clothes. On the right side of the cover, found a place to get it.
They got hairdressers around point there. ElfQuest land.
Delvin, you're back.
I'm back now, Pat. I'm here.
Yep.
Yes. Oh, I get. You know what? I'll go ahead and start us off, and then we can go Jason, Pat, me for the Crusader comments. Y'all ready?
Okay. Yep, we're ready.
Let's go. Welcome back from the break. Now let's get to the feedback part of the show where we share your comments, emails, questions, and shares in a segment called Crusaders Comments. That's not what it's called. In a segment called Crusader Comments. We are thrilled to kick off these comments with special shout outs to our Crusaders Club members. These are the fine folks that have joined our crusade. They enjoy early access to special Longbox episodes, voting to help determine show content, and so much more. These are the folks reaping the benefits and giving some much appreciated support to the show.
Alan W. Wright.
And Helica Wolf.
Oh. Auburn Elvis joining us today in the chat.
Bill Beer.
Billy D. Joining us in the chat.
Sorry about that. Say that again.
Billy D. Joining us in the chat.
Bradley Dello.
Braxton Underwood.
Carrie.
Clinton Robeson.
Captain Entropy.
Clark Westfield.
Dave Collins, the Battle Wagon himself.
Eric Hodges.
Eric Porter.
Ezra Gallo.
Gary V.
Gene Hendricks.
George Meal.
Gerald Green.
Heinz K.
Django Unfettered.
Jason Keene.
Jason Lady.
Jeff Polier.
Jim Jarman, Jim Jarman, Jim Jarman, Jim Jarman. I hope you like Jim Jarman too.
Jameel.
Joe Man Conan.
Joe Thomas.
John Watson.
Josh Strickland.
Candace Ward.
Kathy Bright, the MVP.
Matt and Lissy Paso. Matt is joining us in the chat today.
Mark Ross.
Michael Minton.
Miranda W. She's not joining us in the chat, but her and her sisters are right outside of my door watching K-dramas.
P.D. Devons.
Paul Hicks.
Rick of Jeff and Rick Present.
Ronald Easterday.
Rob Morgan.
Samantha Maney.
Scott.
Sean Urbanski.
Snake Pliskin.
Spidey. What's that?
Go ahead. I was jumping the gun.
Spidey 67.
Spreadsheet.
Steve Cronin.
Steve Martin.
Tim Price.
Tony Pennington joining us in the chat.
And Toronto Cop on patrol.
If we missed anyone on our list, we apologize. Keep in mind that we record these episodes well in advance of release. So if you're a recent addition, we should be adding you soon, but still, no worries. Just let us know that we missed you by sending an email to contact at longboxcrusade.com. We'll get it straightened out. As a reminder, you can become a Crusaders Club member by heading over to patreon.com/longboxcrusade for as little as $1 a month. You'll get access to the amazing world of the Crusaders Club. Come check it out. Don't have any extra scratch lying around, but still want to help us out here at LBC headquarters? Please take a moment to write a review wherever you listen to this podcast. Please go YouTube and subscribe to us there. Please like our stuff and comment on any of the shows that we put out there. It helps boost the algorithm, which everyone wants so badly to be boosted. Even if you want to just keep it short with just star ratings, it helps raise the profile of the show. We will share your review on the next show. For instance, well, maybe not this show because we haven't released the last Amazing Spider-Man Chronicles yet. But when we do, we will read the comments for it. We truly are appreciative of any and all comments that are given, particularly the good ones. We're especially happy about the ratings too, particularly the great ones. And in any event, you can call us and leave a voicemail that we will play on the show. Leave us a message at 707-532-5269. That is 707-532-LBOX.
Pick up the phone.
That was great harmony, gentlemen. And thank you to everyone for the likes, shares, follows, and comments. We appreciate your friendship and your help in spreading the word about this podcast.
And that is the show. Be sure to check out the website, longboxcrusade.com, where posts are made for journaling this crusade. I want to thank Jason and Delvin for joining me on this episode, and we are wishing our friend Jared a good con that he's at. So hopefully everything goes well there for him. He sells lots of stuff. But before that, let's go ahead and find out where we can find where the listeners can find us on the internet. We'll start with Delvin. Where can you be found?
Just a reminder, if you see Jared at a show, he's there to work. He's not there to joke around.
No.
All business. All business.
He's not on vacation.
He is not on vacation. No, sir. Not at all. In any event, you can find me, Threads, Instagram, Delvin Ray. That's where you can largely find me on social media. What about you?
I got it.
Yeah.
You can find me at Jason Albrick on Instagram. What about you, Pat?
Well, Jason, I'm glad you asked. You can find me on the X at Christatos01. And if you want to interact with us live via chat and be entered to win on some fun free stuff for our live raffles, join us on our next episode of Doing a Live Stream, just like today, on YouTube, the second Sunday of every month at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. Go ahead and check out Longbox Crusade on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you get notifications of when we are going to go live there. And join us in the chat as well, too. We'd love to interact with you there as well. Thank you for listening, and we hope you have enjoyed this episode of the Amazing Spider-Man Chronicles. Got a comment or a question, something about the issues that we didn't cover, or you want to just say about it? Go ahead and email us at contact@longboxcrusade.com or leave a comment on the Longbox Crusade Facebook, Instagram, or X page, all at Longbox Crusade. Until next time, take care, and please join us for the next episode as we continue on the crusade to
read them all.
All right. We did it.
Yay.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us in the chat. We definitely do appreciate it.
Yep.
Do you have the list up, like, and all that, and I could do a randomizer. How about that?
Okay. Oh yeah, I don't see Courtney's here.
Courtney isn't here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had 7 people written down. Matt,
Okay.
Since I saw you comment first, Matt, give me a number from 1 to 7, please. When it comes to how many Crusaders Club members do we have? 53.
I'm pulling it up right now. Yeah. Oh yeah. You know what? Why am I going to the thing when it's on our
Right.
work smarter, not harder, Pat?
let's see what Matt came up with 4. And 1, 2, 3. You know who number 4 is on my list as it came up?
Who does number 4 work
Who
for?
does number 4 work for?
Number 4 works for Matt Passo.
Oh, look at that. What kind of
Matt
magic
is a
was that?
number. So
That's interesting.
we don't know what Matt's going to get because Jared holds the prizes. I hold the purse. But we will determine what prize that you get for being here watching the show live. And I will just go ahead and do the random number generator. How about that? From
That sounds
50,
good.
53, 1 to 53?
Just verify here. 52, Delvin.
1 to 52. Do you have a certain spot that you're going to go from, Pat?
I can. Yep, I have one picked out right now on the list.
I am generating a number. The number is 43. If you don't want to count to 43, you can just count to 9 backwards.
9 backwards. I will count 9 backwards to make it easier for me, Delvin. Thank you.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And number 9 is winner from the Crusaders Club is Bradley Delow. Yay!
All right.
Nice.
Bradley Delow is our winner for that. And we'll get with Jarrett to hand out, and he'll get with Delvin. They'll play a little fun game they have of
Jared will ask for the
not giving
money.
him
Delvin will
Delvin's
deny it for a couple days, and then
we'll see a T-shirt come through that Delvin has on. So it's a fun game we played. Jason and I just laugh at it. Yep.
Yeah.
And then the one I have on right now was the T-shirt I worked out in, and it was a gift from my friend Chuck Atuk, a former buddy of mine. He such a kind human being that he gave me this T-shirt, which was awesome. I was super happy for him. Other than that, cool. Is that it, gentlemen?
That is it. We do appreciate everybody for joining us. Thank you all for all the support you do provide us. All the people watching us right now, thank you. We had a high number of people watching us on the X and everywhere else. Join us next time. Feel free to get in the water and get into the chat. We do appreciate it. We have some stuff coming up this week. We can't disclose because it's a Christmas episode that we're recording. So it's going to be a secret this Wednesday for our recording. So you'll hear about it in December. Until then, everybody take care. Thank you so much. Have a fun July. We will talk to you next month. Unless you're a Crusaders Club member, we'll probably see you sooner than that.
See you, folks.
Bye. Thank you all for joining us. Bye.
You ending it, Pat?
I got it.